Here he is again. Heading the phone like a 12-year-old. What's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday night. We have got Bruce and Bob, and it is going to be fun. We're going to have more fun than Cam Brady on opening season day.
What?
I said Cam Brady.
Now you show up to
Cam
work.
Cam Newton.
Just show up to work like nothing is wrong. Like, oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah. By the way,
You're fired.
You're fired. Yeah, like you just pack up your shit and go home. I'm like, what? I didn't expect that.
It doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, no, it makes sense if he hadn't been the whole time like such a passionate defender of Cam. Like if you go back and listen to the things he was saying, like he's always been like, oh, Cam is good, and he's our guy. And good evening, Tab. And
hey,
you wouldn't think that he would, but see, he got fucking caught up in this vaccine shit. You know that, right?
No, you explain.
Okay, this is what happened. So maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Cam won't get a vaccine.
Oh, Jesus.
And he won't say why he won't get it either. He just says, oh, but, so he's one of these people that don't want to get a vaccine. So he didn't get the vaccine, so he got the COVID. Or he tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. No, here's the deal. I forget. He didn't test positive for COVID. What he did was he went outside of the protocols of the NFL and he went to some place to get his COVID test that wasn't listed by the NFL as acceptable place to get a test.
In other words, he wanted an answer favorable.
Either way, he's going to his own people. So, but they're not on the list of NFL shit. So what happened was he got flagged by NFL for not following protocols, and he got not suspended, but he's on the quarantine thing, and he wasn't allowed to go to practice for 5 days or some shit. So that meant that he wasn't allowed to play in the preseason game that they had last week. And that's why this kid played the game. And then when they saw the kid play, I guess they were like, oh, well, maybe he's more ready than we thought.
And
so when Cam came back, they're like, hey, you know what? Just cut. And they just cut ties with him. Or that's another thing is you don't know what's going on internally about the COVID shit. Like, maybe he's an anti-vaxxer and he's like fighting them, tooth and nail about every little thing about the COVID. You know what I mean? Which is fucked up because he already had COVID last year.
Cam Newton had COVID last year.
Yeah, he got sick and was out when he was on the Panthers. Or no, when he was on the Patriots. Yeah, he got sick and missed like 3 games or something.
So in other words, this goes back to what I've always said.
And now he won't get a vaccine. And so I think Belichick was like, well, what happens if he just gets the COVID again?
Right. So
like, well,
this is the point from that. Kid. I don't want to go back to this, but people back us into this corner. When I say us, I mean sane people. So you don't want to get a vaccine. There's dubious reasons as to why you don't want to. The Martians put it on Earth or whatever the hell. I don't want to get into that. But now you're a celebrity. You have a position of power by which people rely on you, and you have access to the top doctors in the world, better people than I have access to.
That's my point. Is he decided to go to his own people to get his COVID test instead of going to wherever the NFL told them to go.
And this is the thing.
And then they said, no, we're not going to accept this as a test.
Got that. The responsibility is on him to be a role model and to rise above that. And if you have access, limitless resources, at what point do you just go, you know what? I'm being paid to do a job. I'm going to have to put my personal opinions to the side and do the job I'm being paid to do.
Well, this opens up an interesting discussion because something just happened today in the NFL as well. Urban Meyer, I heard about this on the way over here on the radio. Urban Meyer today, when they were asking him about how they
from Florida.
Yeah, he's the head coach of Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
He used to be the coach of Ohio State.
He fucked over a wrestling promotion.
He's a fucking jerk off. I don't like that guy. Never have. But here's the deal. This is what happened today. They had the press conference after they cut down the rosters all the way to the 52-man, roster, and they asked him what was your process you used to get to the 52-man roster, and he started saying all this stuff, how they played, blah blah blah, and at the very end of his discussion or his answer to the question, he said something like, and then it was like, do you have the vaccine? The guys that were on the fringe to get cut or not cut, or positions that were real close. Or like, okay, this tight end, third string tight end position is real close between these two guys. And he goes down the list of things, and one of the things he said was vaccinated or not.
Yeah.
Well, now there's going to start an investigation, they said, by the Players Association.
No, when you say
to see if the teams are actually cutting people because of their vaccination status, or if that's part of the decision that they're making. Because you're not technically supposed to be able to discriminate against someone.
Now, my question is this, though. My question is this. And here's a picture of Urban
HIPAA
Meyer.
laws make this. That's another thing.
There's Urban Meyer.
The HIPAA laws make this all very confusing water to navigate through.
I want to understand this. When you're saying that Urban Meyer was cutting people who weren't is he cutting people because they're not?
No, he didn't say that.
But he implied.
Well, what he said was, if it came down to two guys, let's say they're looking at the third string tight end, and they're like, okay, this is a real close battle between these two guys because they don't have a lot of tape on them, they didn't play too much or whatever, or maybe they both made some good plays, and they're like, oh, there's flashes in both of these guys. Well, is this guy vaccinated? Is that guy vaccinated? And then if the guy was vaccinated, they go, well, we'll just keep the vaccinated guy. We'll get rid of the non-vaccinated guy.
All right. You know what? But here's the thing.
But that's what I'm saying about Cam. It's if Belichick decided, hey, you know what? Cam got the COVID last year and fucking missed 3 fucking games and put us in a bind, and now he won't get this vaccine.
Cut him.
Maybe, yeah. And he was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going through this again. Fuck you.
Cut him.
And you just cut him.
Hey, look. We've said,
either way, it comes down to
we've said this. We've said this before, Bruce. Here's my attitude on it. The moment in any job where you're a liability, you're going to get cut. Any job.
Sure.
If they catch you sleeping on the job at McDonald's, they're going to cut you. If they catch you rubbing your dicks on the bread at Subways, they're going to cut you. If they are going to find out that they're putting money into you and you're not performing, you're cut. And if they say to you,
see, that's the question, though. This isn't about performance.
No, but that it is, because you can't perform.
No, but I'm saying, what's all what ifs?
Yeah,
it's all what ifs.
Because we don't know exactly
he
what.
could go through the whole season, not get sick.
I know, but you know what? I'm paying you
because he's not vaccinated. He's taking the chance.
Yeah, and it's not even that. He can kneecap the entire team.
But that's the point.
Done. You're done.
That's what happened last year.
You
got the COVID in the middle of the season.
You know what?
It cost him 2 or 3 weeks, and then when he came back, they were like, "Oh, he doesn't look."
I'm a nerd. I've said I'm a nerd. I went to a Star Trek convention. Most of the Star Trek actors were not there, and some of them are actively shooting new Star Trek shows, and we're not there because they're on tight lots and they don't want contamination. And I went, it sucks, but you know what they did? They were professional. They followed it, and then what they did is they went on Zoom, and
can they zoom in
they did. Terry Farrell
at least give a little speech in the big room and put you on.
Terry Farrell did a Zoom.
Thank you guys for coming.
Jerry Ryan had a pre-recorded message about the new.
She didn't come.
No,
she didn't get to see her fabulous tits.
Oh God, she's she's a lesbian in the new Star Trek series. They took the 7 to 9 character and they made her a lesbian.
I'm saying, I just want to see.
Right. So, so the point is, maybe, and to me, maybe it's part of the sci-fi culture. They were like,
she's always had like one of the top 10 racks of all time.
Yeah. And but my point, I mean, those are spectacular.
Yes.
They're professional.
They're out of this world.
They're professional. They're professional tits, and those professional tits are probably vaccinated.
Right.
And that's it. And if you don't want to do that, fine. But there's a big difference. If I'm paying you the money that I'm paying Cam Newton to do a job, you're done. I have no sympathy for that. I can't, because you're getting paid too much to do too much.
Because he got sick last year too. That I really think that's got to be part of it.
Gone.
And now that he refuses to get a vaccine, then they're like, hey, we're taking a chance. We might go through this again.
But
if that happens, our season is fucked anyway. So if our season is fucked anyway, we might as well go with this kid.
And what was
see what he
and
can
what
do.
was it? The Jacksonville coach's name? Meyer. I always
Urban
Urban Meyer. Here he is. Now I hate this guy.
No, he's always been a fucking douchebag.
And I'll tell you why I hate this guy.
I hate him too.
So AEW, All Elite Wrestling, had a promotion. This guy and this guy are feuding. Okay. We've talked about this, and this is the storyline element, the kayfabe of it all, where it's all the fakest part of it. And these two guys are feuding. It's a 1 hour match that's taking place in multiple scenes around the Jacksonville Jaguars arena and Daly's Place Arena, which is adjacent to it.
Right.
He is in one scene where these two are throwing punches, and he and him, they almost get stuff thrown at them. Okay.
Right.
Urban Meyer. So what does he do when they go in the back? That's Tony Khan. He owns the Jaguars. His father owns the Jaguars. He owns AEW.
Right.
You don't post a picture of the two guys who are fighting dead center and then post it live while the match is going on. You're an idiot.
This is what happened at
what a fuckwit.
At what you call it? I watched that movie about the Sheik.
Yeah, Iron Sheik.
It's on the Prime.
Prime.
Have you seen it?
Have
you seen it?
No.
No, it's a great movie. Really, actually, it's really good. The story is really good.
Yeah.
And he's just a funny guy.
Iron Sheik.
No, but that's what happened was they busted the bubble of wrestling because he needed a ride from the airport, and him and Hacksaw Jim Duggan were supposed to fight.
He still wrestles.
Right, but I'm saying they were supposed to fight at some big WWE thing, and Sheik was like, "Oh, I need a ride. Can you just give me a ride from the airport?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So he picks him up at the airport, and then he's like, Sheik was like, "Can you stop at this store?" And he comes out with beer, and he's like, "Oh, you want a beer?" And then they're drinking beer, and then Sheik gets a blow, and they got pulled over by the cop.
Okay,
and they got arrested. But they're supposed to be mortal enemies.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan get arrested driving around in the same car with blow and beer in his party.
Right, but that's different. That's different because...
No, but that was when people still thought that wrestling was real. And it blew up publicly.
Well, I mean...
The movie, Sheik says it's a big part of why he fell off and he's not still a big relevant, he had to rebuild himself from the... No,
but Hacksaw Jim Duggan still wrestled well after that.
WWE kicked him out. Kicked them both out, I believe.
Well, look, the storyline element is the part of it that's the written up quality. Everything else is happening is the real element.
So they had to go back to...
Yeah,
the minor leagues.
No. They wrestled all over. A lot of those guys.
No, they showed the Sheik was playing.
He was gone.
These minor league.
But Hacksaw Jim Duggan's wrestles everywhere to this day. These guys are also getting older.
Same thing.
Their bodies are
WWE.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. There's other promotions.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. I get
they
that.
They were at the top.
I know, but now
it was part of the story.
Yeah, no, I get you.
It was what blew the lid off wrestling, and wrestling finally had to admit that it was fake. That they were like, it's entertainment.
Well, look,
and then McMahon went into court.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to get lost on it.
And said that he didn't want to be taxed as a sport. He wanted to be taxed as an entertainment.
But that's McMahon does that. The other promotions don't have that mindset or attitude. That's only WWE that does that.
Whatever. We're not getting into this.
WWE
or not fucking argument.
WWE is the only one that's Vince McMahon's thing in the sports entertainment, and that's a big argument amongst that. But there are other promotions. That's the whole point. This is the big leagues now. WWE is really on the way out, and they're probably going to get sold.
I don't know why you would say that when they just fucking had they just sold out that stadium.
The reason why it's very much looking like WWE is going to sell.
I think they said it was almost 60,000 people there.
Nah, they inflate those numbers. First of all, that stadium doesn't even hold 60,000. WWE is notorious for inflating numbers. If you watch the show, if you watch that pay-per-view, you can actually see that all the seats are not full. WWE is notorious. Vince McMahon is notorious for having them inflate numbers in attendance. They always round up. It's a running joke in other promotions. that Vince inflates the numbers.
65,000 seat stadium.
All right.
No, I'm just saying. That's
Okay.
that's how much.
That's impressive, by
That's
the
how
way.
many seats are in the Allegiant. 65,000.
That's impressive. No shit. I didn't know it was that much. I thought it was like in the 40s. That's impressive.
No, that's what I'm saying. I knew it was more than that.
But like the Mercedes-Benz one in Georgia, I think that's 100,000.
It's a big stadium.
Yeah. So no, I mean, all that's fine. There's other places to get business. That whole sports entertainment versus just sports has been a point of contention.
I'm just saying. That arrest of those two guys.
Well, yeah, it tore the kayfabe off.
Tore the
lid off it.
The
right,
facade off of wrestling.
Right.
But
that was.
Say,
I mean,
maybe it's not so real as I thought.
Right. Well,
because these guys are supposed to hate each other. And
yeah. Well, that was the same thing as Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer would have, a Ku Klux Klan guy and a black guy fighting, and then they'd be eating dinner after.
No, those are fake. I know people personally who
been on the
Jerry Springer.
It's all fake.
They give them they give them the scenario and everything.
Really?
Oh yeah. Or some people come up with their own scenarios and then they'll send them in.
Jesus.
You'd be like, okay, it's like a gay guy.
Hey, thank you.
Like a gay guy has two
RZ Warmonger. Hey, thank you.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to somehow I'm sleeping with both of these chicks and I'm gay or something, he's got two girlfriends, but he wants to tell them that he's gay or something. And then they send that scenario into Springer and Springer will go, yes. And then he flies them in and they do it.
Thank you, RZ, and thank you. And Julia, yeah, I'm not liquid metal.
I know a couple of
the
people,
blue light is just hitting me odd.
Who did that?
Yeah. No, I mean, when I was in high school, we had one TV, and it was in the Weather Club, and I would watch Jerry Springer, and like 99, Jerry Springer was a shit. Now he's got a show where he's a lawyer. I mean, he's a judge.
I hate that they let that fucking dumbass bald dude have his own show.
Well, it's the same show. Steve.
It's the same show, yes, but like
Steve Wilco.
Who are you?
Oh, he's the guy.
He's like standing there, like, oh, he's gonna talk, and he's like dispensing life advice to these people, and she's like, "You're a fucking bouncer, like you throw people out for a living. Like, who are you to be dispensing this marriage advice?" And
hey, I'm Steve Wilco.
The legal advice, like any kind of advice, he's just dispensing. Like,
let me tell you something, brother. You should treat your wife better, and you treat her with more respect.
I'm just saying, it's like. Dude, you're like a one step up from a janitor.
Hey,
and you're telling
buddy,
people
let me explain something to you.
How to live their life.
Honey, you're 17 years old. You don't dress like that. You don't do that. You're going to be a respectable young lady.
It's unbelievable. Yeah! I can't watch that shit for more than like 5 minutes and my blood starts boiling. I turn it off. Like, that's like the depth of all human stupidity. Like when you watch these old I've been watching a lot of documentaries, and on these old documentaries, they'll show Donahue all the time because he was like one of the first of those kind of people. And you just see him, and you're like, dude, you like, he's so personally.
There he is. Look at him. There you go, Steve Wilco.
That's what I mean, though. He's like one step up from a janitor, but yet he's dispensing, like I said, like life advice
because he got
like
famous.
He's some kind of guru. Yeah, but I know what I'm saying.
Now, here's the thing. Here, let me critique this real quick.
That's what I mean. Is like in this country, if you just give anybody a bunch of money, even if it was for nothing, like he got famous for throwing people out on a TV show.
Yeah,
and now he's rich, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying now he could just give up.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Julia, and I'm not saying it's bad to be a janitor, but I'm saying if you're a janitor, you probably shouldn't be telling people.
Hey, look, like first of all, Bruce,
like
let's take a look at this guy right now. Let's take a look at this guy. Let's look at
some life guru.
Let's take a look at this guy together, Bruce. So we've got big button-down shirt. You got the man titties right here. You got the big man titties. Okay, you got the gut, no neck. The neck is just melted into his torso. It looks like
he's absorbed by his chin.
Yeah, it's just. It looks like his chin is melting. Again, this is right here. This is the.
What happens when you go from being the security to the host?
Right, look at him.
Like when he was the security, he was probably still all buff and shit.
Yeah, now
he doesn't have to throw people out himself.
And I'm looking at this right here.
I'm
looking at this right here. I'm thinking to myself, this guy can't see his penis anymore. Hey, he can't see his penis
He's
anymore.
not
There's
that
no way.
bad.
He's bad. Come on. First of all, would I be worried about him
Well,
kicking my
maybe.
ass? No, not anymore. I should be worried about you being able to kick my ass. That's bitch tits.
He's not the, like I said, he's not the security anymore.
It's
He's the
bitch
host.
tits. Bitch tits ain't kicking no one's ass.
It's different.
It's different.
No, but it is. It's a different job.
Yeah.
When you're the security, you got to be in shape, ready for that. You know, you got to have to get into some physical altercations with people. Now he's the host. He's just fat and fucking, yeah. He just stands there. You know, he doesn't have to worry about it. He's probably got his own.
Oh, God. Now I'm going to pull
Security.
up a picture of when this motherfucker was actually not a sloppy disgrace. Here we go.
Look at him running up there.
Look at this. He looks like Vin Diesel running up there to break up. Look at this. That's a fucking man right there. That guy's gonna kick his ass. That's a man.
Now he'd take like 3 steps. He'd be like,
Look at that shit. Look at that. A tool shit.
by the time he got up there, she'd be strangled to death, you know.
And I love, and first of all, again, this is old school Jerry Springer before they fucked it up. You've
That's what I
got
mean. He's young and in shape.
not even that. Look at
and
what's
that's it.
happening in the
He's the
picture, Bruce.
security.
Situational awareness. You got to have it. You got this black guy here strangling out his wife on live TV.
Right.
Look at this. You can tell it's a woman. That means that dude is putting his hands on his lady live TV. That was acceptable in 98. 90s television was the shit because it was so fucking bad. How bad is
No,
that
but that's
shit?
what I'm saying. Is you can go farther back than that. Like I said, go back to Phil Donahue. That was
Well,
the very beginning of it. Phil
yeah.
Donahue and Morton Downey Jr.
Yes.
started all of that garbage TV. Like put the TV all the way down into the gutter.
Morton
It's like-
Downey Jr., I remember that he had that set with the mouth. I
Yes.
remember.
And the whole thing was to just have everybody yelling at each other. It was all arguments. Stupid and shit. Like it was like a Facebook comment section that you were just watching live on TV.
Oh, I remember this motherfucker.
Where
when I
they
was a
could
kid.
attack each other and shit.
This is like the start of Fox News, really.
No, that's what I'm saying is, but that was the beginning of it.
Look at that. That is basically your Sean Hannity,
And
your
then
Tucker
Geraldo
Carlson,
jumped in.
your Rush Limbaugh. That was the beginning. I remember that when I was real little. And I remember he had the logo he had this big mouth
Yeah, but see,
logo.
Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake came later. What we're talking about, this is the very beginning where this kind of garbage TV was
first one.
first spawning, like coming out of an egg, like Alien, you know, about to grip the nation by the face and shit their fucking egg down your throat.
And don't forget Geraldo Rivera.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was those two guys, Donahue and Mort Downey, and then Geraldo jumped into the game, and then Jerry Springer shows up.
And don't forget Sally Jesse Raphael.
Jerry Springer just took it right on down into Sally Jesse. There was another one. Yeah,
Sally Jesse Raphael. There's Phil Donahue.
well, there was so many of them at the time.
Phil Donahue was supposed to be the more sane guy. Morton Downey Jr. was a loudmouth fuck. Morton Downey Jr. was me on steroids. He's what, and this is just great. Phil Donahue was supposed to be. He was a Dr. Phil of the time.
He was like your high school principal.
Right. He was
there to shame you.
Yeah.
Don't you think this is not good? Like, don't you think this is terrible? I mean, you treat women, you know.
And then you had Sally Jesse Raphael, who was basically the same thing, but the woman version of it. Oh, let me see if I can find them.
I don't know. You see some of these people, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, where do these people come from? Like, who thought that this person, like, yes, that woman there, get her. We need to put her on TV.
The red glasses, the blonde hair, and she was basically the same thing as Phil Donahue. And they were supposed to be the voice of reason.
It's like they were like, we need a woman version.
Well,
of
it was
this.
so good because it was such an interesting concept. Is we're going to do a TV show, we're going to have fucked up people, and then the host will be there to act like the voice of reason, and it's just complete dysfunction. And that's how you got her show, Phil Donahue, Geraldo Rivera. Morton Downey Jr. was different. He was just screaming at you. His show was different.
His show was like it was like wrestling without wrestling. Like they just get a bunch of people together and start yelling at each other.
Take care of yourselves. Oh yeah, I remember that. Take care of yourselves
Right.
and each other.
Right.
Oh my God. And that's how Jerry Springer had that,
So
where Jerry
fucking
Springer
awesome.
tried to have that closing moment, that closing
Well, no,
thought.
no. Here's the deal, though. What you don't know, if you don't know about Jerry Springer, is Jerry Springer used to be the mayor of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah, he wants to run for Senate
He
too.
got caught. The reason why he never went farther than that is because he got caught writing a check to a hooker, and he had to resign being the mayor. So then he became an anchor on the Channel 5, the local news there. And every night he would have this thing was called Final Thought.
Yeah.
Springer's Final Thought. And he would have obviously he was a lawyer first. He was a lawyer, then he became the mayor. And then I said he had a promising political future. But he fucked that up because he here's how he got caught. He wrote a check to a hooker that bounced. So when his check bounced, it brought up no one would probably look at that check if it hadn't bounced. You know what I mean? But then when it bounced, they looked at the check, was like, oh, who is this person? Oh, it's a hooker.
Oh my God, hold on a second. Oh my God, look at this.
Yes.
Jesus
So
Christ.
I'm from Cincinnati. So anyway, then he would have this commentary at the end of the local
Look at him.
news.
That's young Jerry Springer.
Final thought. And then what's up, Kareem? And then
look at that.
so he took the final thought thing to his show.
Yeah.
So that was the
But
close.
look at
The close of his show was some quippy little thing that he wrote, What she said, yeah, Jewish shyster lawyer. Yeah, exactly. Who's, like I said, writing checks to hookers, which is stupid to begin with. Like, why not just pay her cash? But second of all, if you're going to write a check to a hooker, you should at least make sure that you have that money in the bank.
Well, no, the other thing, the reason why he doesn't want to go into higher office.
Especially if you're the mayor of the fucking town.
Well, he said he doesn't want to go into higher office. Not that he wouldn't get voted on, because he doesn't want people. This is who he is now. This is what Jerry will always be known for. Look at that. Cognac. Prostitute has a child with a pimp. And you're going to look back at this and go,
can't be a senator.
And you were doing this for a show.
If you're running against him, all you'd have to do is run several pictures like that with the is this the man you want?
Yeah.
It's like a picture of of the Afghanistan thing and people fucking flying off the roof and shit, and then right after that fades into that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, is this the man you want in charge of Afghanistan?
Yeah, right.
Like, no, it's not.
Oh my God.
This man bounced a check to a hooker.
Oh my God. Look at this.
You really want him running foreign policy.
Oh, you got to do the piano music, and then you have to do it in the deep voice.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
This is your senatorial candidate.
Right.
Do you want someone who show updates where my daughter is still a prostitute?
Right, exactly.
On November 21st, you have a choice.
Right, exactly.
It's like, look at, I'd fuck the shit out of her. She's looking at
No. She looks just like someone you'd see on Boulder or something.
No, not that good. Please get the fuck out of here. You wish. That's an actress. Boulder? No, Boulder's not that good.
Really?
No, Boulder's not that good.
Sometimes you get lucky.
No.
Troll hard enough.
No, first of all,
it's like hunting for pearls. Like you gotta look at a lot of oysters for you.
No, all right. Because we're doing a show.
You find that one pearl in the fucking.
No. Bruce, you're out of your element here.
How do you think? Why would you think for 1 second that I don't know anything about that sort of thing?
No.
Even though I don't do it now.
Out here, no.
I'm older.
No.
Younger, I did all kinds of shit.
Boulder Highway is like the pond scum, the urchin. The only chicks who are dressing up, and there's reason for this. The only chicks who are dressing up like legit hookers with hooker heels and stripper outfits and all that are the ones going into casinos because they could just blend in. If they dress up like that on the street, they get arrested immediately, which is why.
I get that. I haven't seen. That's why I was thinking to myself, like, I told you, I posted. It wasn't that long ago. It was like a month, maybe. I left Shanklas, and I saw these girls walking on Las Vegas Boulevard down there.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, it was about midnight or something.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
by that across from Shankles there's like that adult bookstore
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and there's like a hostel.
Yeah, the hostile cat.
Either way, I was just saying I saw these chicks walking. And I was like, "Oh, there's the hookers," and I thought, "Wow,
You just said that. That was the whitest thing. Oh, those are hookers.
right." Well, because I hadn't really seen it.
Those are. Oh, honey.
Like where you
those
go,
are
you go.
Women
okay,
of the night.
That's a fucking hooker right there. And then there was another one, and like, okay, there's two of them.
Those
But
are women of the night.
I had been living here for 2 years, and I'd never really seen it.
That's what I'm talking about. No, so
it's like everything here is kind of under, ground behind closed
no,
doors.
no. So everything's it's right out in the open. All of the prostitutes that you see walking on,
just didn't go into the neighborhoods where they are walking.
There's 3 spots. Or 4 spots. You've got the Strip, and you've got Fremont. You've got Tropicana, and they call that the track, which is going west on the 15th. So once you get over to the Wild Wild West, from the Wild Wild West Casino all the way to the Orleans, which I call the Horleans, and that 7-Eleven is where that's the first strip of hookers. The second one is Boulder Highway. Boulder Highway, they go where the hotels are. There's a strip of hotels. So sometimes what they'll do is they will hang in the casinos, like they'll go to Arizona Charlie's, or they'll go to the East Side Cannery. But the real prostitutes over there go by the hotel strip, which is right before Boulder Highway becomes Fremont. Because if you stay on Boulder Highway and you go straight, it just turns into Fremont. So Boulder Highway is right before Fremont. I think like Charleston. That's the spot where the hookers go, and the hotels are right there. So you just walk right over into the hotel, and the guys at the hotel will be like, "We're not running a whorehouse, but whatever they do." But on Tropicana, the girls walk up and down. And if you see a girl in high heels walking up Tropicana, number one, you're going to be hurting, because that's walking on concrete for 4 hours trying to get a dick in you for money. But the other thing is, you can ask them, how do you not get arrested? We fuck the cops. But they won't say fuck. They'll go, we date the cops.
Well, that happens everywhere.
But
I told you there was this chick. When I went to high school, there was this chick that always hung around, and she was like, one of those chicks.
Yeah, I mean, she's fucking.
Right, but
she's fucking.
But she was blowing the cops.
Yeah.
They take her down over the levee, and she'd fucking suck them off.
Yeah, and then she doesn't go to jail.
One day they fucking arrested her and took her to jail, and then she went up dead.
Oh shit!
And she checked this out. This is the fucking.
They probably tried to rape her. She probably said, "No, I don't want to fuck you."
She knew something about something that was going on. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Or they just figured that she'd become too much of a liability. Or, she got in trouble for drugs.
She probably threatened them or tried to blackmail.
Try to get out of her getting in trouble. Was like, well, I'll tell them that I fucking sucked you off.
Yeah, and they killed her. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they fucking killed her.
So in New York, there was a woman, and she was a dominatrix. And she was, these 2 cops found out about it, so they started harassing her. And they took her to the bushes outside of, like, I think it was, I don't want to say Eastchester, might have been Eastchester. And they raped her, and they made her do, like, throw up on them and do all weird sex shit and, put shit in herself. I mean, they went on, but here's the thing. She survived, and it became public knowledge, and it made it to all the local news networks.
Right.
And they were done, those cops.
Right.
Even if you don't want to get associated with that by name. So, yeah. I mean, if she dies... If she dies, you're gone. I mean, if she dies, you kill her. I mean, did they ever find out who the cops were who killed her?
No, listen to this. Now, this is the most fucked up part of it. I'll never forget this shit, because I was like, I don't know, I was like 16. She was a little bit older than us. She didn't go to high school. But we knew it's a small town, so we'd all be hanging out on the levee, on the weekends and shit, and people be down there. So everybody knew everybody, No, she went to jail, wound up being shot inside the jail, and then they said, "Oh, she smuggled a gun into the jail in her vagina or whatever." You're like, "What? Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, that's the story you're going with, and because it's Indiana, it's small town and all that shit. They didn't do anything. They just accepted that explanation and moved on.
Of course,
but it's one of those things. It's like it's always been like I've never not thought about that. It's like one of those unsolved mystery things. where it's like there's so many things about it that don't make any sense. It's like,
yeah, no, I mean, it makes perfect sense because first of all,
if that was true, even if that was true,
that she had a gun in her pussy,
yes, there should have been a state investigation of the security procedures at that.
Nah, come
jail.
on, you know damn well in Midwest,
which would have uncovered a lot. Started a peeling of an onion that was
But
onion.
you, Bruce, you're not dumb. You're a smart guy. You know damn well that in the Midwest,
yeah, it was fucking. Like I said, it's all corrupt.
Well,
this country is corrupt.
But here's the way I look at it.
Have you ever heard of James Traficant? Have you ever heard of him?
Who?
James Traficant. He was a congressman.
No.
He was like one of the most dirtiest congressman persons. He's from Ohio. So many people know, like, so many things about Traficant. Do you remember not that many years ago? This family was murdered in Ohio. Do you remember that? They were all shot to death. And everybody was like, what is going on with this? They were like, why is this whole family shot to death? It was like some kind of drug thing or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the more they got to investigating it, like the local officials were like stalling somehow in this investigation about this.
Yeah.
And the feds were like, this is strange. Why are they stalling about this investigation? There's something weird about this. And so the feds came in.
Yeah.
And fucking found out that the whole place is corrupt. The sheriff and everything. It was all fucking big giant corruption.
Yeah, but that's
scheme.
Nothing.
No, but I'm saying is that's how this country is.
Well, yeah, but you got to look at it like this.
This country is dirty. And always has been.
Look at it like this. Look at it like this.
Top to the bottom.
Look at it like this. Let's say to next week, they go, God damn, Champagne's is doing so well. We're gonna just start to get book gigs. Bruce, we're gonna give you $500 a week. I don't know what they give you at Champagne's.
It ain't that.
Exactly. And then you go, whoa, wait.
If give me $500 a week, I'd quit Vaughn's.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's less than I make at Vaughn's, but it's enough to live on.
Right.
I don't want to work at Vaughn's anymore.
So now they go, wow, now Bruce, you're getting $2,000 a month, and you're just doing Champagne's and you're doing your other shows. And then they go, hey, look, buddy, you want to get on Champagne's? I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe you do some freaky shit with my dogs. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood today. You know what? Maybe Charlie. Maybe you help my wife out of here. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if you want to get on the show, you got to go through me. I'm just saying. This is how things go. I get a little weird sometimes. I got to do weird shit.
Well, that's how Hollywood used to be.
No. So now you're a local cop,
but
now you're a local cop, and you're the judge, the jury, and you go, hey, so was that you hooking? No, officer. Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do about this.
Well, that's what happened,
right? But this is, and you
go. I could take you to jail, or you can suck me off. And this is fucking Super 8 parking
lot. There's nobody,
and
there's nobody to stop you. You are the judge, jury, and you've lived like that for so long that you don't know any other way. It's just become normal to you, so that when somebody says, "Did you do something wrong?" No, I didn't do anything wrong. This is how I've always done things. That's the mindset.
But that's more how the system. That's why I always say that's more how the system is. That's why these bad cops are still around.
It's ubiquitous
because nobody fucking stops it.
Well, no, and now what's happened is
even the good cops.
Well, you know what?
They don't say anything.
You know what changed the world for the worse and changed the world for the better? Because now.
Well, there's eyes on them. There's more eyes on them.
Yeah, well, sure. No, but that doesn't even. I mean, George Floyd, they got Derek Chauvin because there was video recording of it.
Yeah.
If there wasn't video recording of it, he would have got away with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, and why did the cops have body cams? The cops have to have body cams because they were fucking up. Because if you were doing, let me tell you something, Bruce. My hometown, Yorktown Heights, New York. They didn't have body cams. They didn't have to. The cops weren't fuck-ups. They weren't lunatics. They weren't psychos. I didn't have to worry about that shit. Didn't have to worry about that. Now would be,
Yeah, but you would think that's how it would be in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Like, oh, it's just a little small town. It's like, no, they're corrupt as fuck. Like,
I think that it comes
run
down
that town, and they own the police, they own everything. Like
I grew up in a suburb of New York City, and I always said this, and I believe this. I really do. I think that the quality of education at a base level makes you a better person. I really do. I think that the better educated you are, the more well-adjusted you're going to be for two reasons. Number one, if you're going to school, you're forced to interact with people. And number two, the more you learn, the more you will want to learn, and it will force you to be more introspective, more thoughtful, more empathetic. I think education is important, and it breeds a better quality person. That's me.
Yeah, but if you ever grew up like where I grew up, there's lots of people that aren't interested in learning.
Well, that's
They're
where
not
it's
interested in anything.
That's where it starts, and that's the
Except
problem.
feeling entitled and feeling like they don't have to learn anything, and it's their God-given right to push around other people.
Right, and that's where you get that Cam Newton mentality from what you're describing to me, because I can only go by. If you become successful and you come from an area of the world like that, where you have no interaction, and now you're wealthy, or now you have a position of power, you have some level of authority. What do you mean by no
interaction?
When I say interaction, look, when I was growing up, no, I'll give you an example. When I was growing up, I was a sheltered kid. My mom was insanely overprotective. She even got a job at my school to keep tabs on me. She did. She became a hall monitor. It was bad. And it didn't help me out. But when I got to middle school, see, every school, there were 5 schools in the district. There was Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Lincoln Titus, Ben Franklin, and Van Court. Those are the elementary schools. Then all of the students from these schools went to Copper Beach Middle School. Now, here's a problem. 2 of those schools are upper white middle class. 2 of the schools are lower white middle class. 1's in the middle. You put them all under one building.
But they're all white.
No, one of the schools is black and Hispanic. Okay.
Well, you didn't say that.
All right, that's fair. No. So now you mix all these people, and then what the Copper Beach Middle School did was they had a caste system, and they had red team, green team, blue team. Blue team was Ivy League. I was on green team. You're in the middle. You can go either direction. Red team was your fuck. We're just trying to keep you from killing each other. You're going to be working at vocational school.
Right.
And every time the bell rang, there was blood on the floor. There was people getting in fights. You literally established that there were going to be people who had a better pathway to life than you would ever dream to have, and we're breeding you.
Yeah,
for
but
that.
that's determined by your grades and shit.
No, yes.
I mean, where I'm from, that's how it was determined.
Right, but I'll get to that. So what happened was,
you got good test scores. They put you in the fucking special.
Correct. But it didn't work well. Because you're setting up some kids in a pathway where they're getting a higher quality education, or they're on their way to Ivy League or honors.
Yeah, dude, I was a special kid.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
When I was in elementary school, they'd take us out.
Yeah, I know.
To fucking museum.
Right.
Today we're going to the to see opera.
But what it was is you created. They developed a system by which you created a have and have-nots and a caste system, where you basically reinstilled in the violent kids, or the dumb kids, or the kids with low opportunities, that you're never going to go anywhere. This is your path in life. So what happened when I left 20 years later? I ran into somebody who goes to that middle school, and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you." And she said, "For what?" Copper Beach.
You went there too?
No, so I said, I looked at her. I said, "I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you because that school is violent and blah blah blah." And this was when I was doing radio production. And the host of the show was a psychologist, and he goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for that, Robert." No, we heard about this. 2 girls looked at me. We heard about it, that Copper Beach was a hellhole. They got rid of that system. They literally just said, "Screw it. We're going to make every class like the blue team class. We're going to give everyone that level of education. We're going to instill everyone those levels of value, so you don't feel as soon as you get out of your elementary school that your life is already predetermined for you."
See,
and it worked.
Yeah, but
it
worked.
But
listen. But this is the beginning.
That worked.
But this is the beginning of what's happening now. What you're saying.
What do you mean?
Because the truth is, whether you want to admit it or not, the truth is, some of these kids are too fucking dumb to handle these fucking classes.
No. Wait a minute. No. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. That's a bullshit answer, and I won't.
No, it isn't.
It's a bullshit answer. And I'll tell you,
true.
It's bullshit. It's a fucking lazy horse shit answer. That's fucking lazy mentality. It's not true. Not even close. You're not even in the ballpark.
Whatever.
If you set a standard, yes, you're going to have people who won't make it. You're going to have people who won't make it. But you're laughing because you think You're going to have people don't make it. If you set a low standard, you get low standards. If you set a high standard, you're going to raise more
I don't
people
mean
up.
that. I didn't say that at all. What I said is there are people who legitimately can't handle.
What you do is you set a higher standard. And by the way, Bruce, you can laugh all you want. They already found out this way works because that school went from to lowest in the country to the highest school in the country. If you set a higher standard, you're going to force more people to raise their game up, more kids to go and learn, to read books, to learn math.
Education.
No,
what
but
I'm saying
you're going to have
you're always
going to have
put him in trigonometry class.
No,
he's
but
gonna fail.
Bruce, you're always going to have somebody who slips through the crack, but you want to make the standard higher. There's no.
I don't disagree with that at all.
The social.
That's not the part that you're not considering.
No, hold on. I don't want to ignore Julia here. The social interactions between the cast overrode the education received. Yes, to a degree, it did, because what's happening is now, if you're a kid and you were in one of these shelter schools where you're one of these, middle class white kids, and now all of a sudden you're working with, you're in a classroom with somebody from the inner city, and they're kicking the shit out of you, or you have two different cultures clashing. What they did, and it worked, was, hey, look, we're going to, instead of saying you're a dumbass, you're always going to be a dumbass and treat you like that, we want you to, the reason for an education is for you to receive an education. That's the whole purpose of school. We're going to raise the standard where everyone is getting a better quality education.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
And yes, you will always have some kid who's stupid or doesn't have the desire or the drive, but that's a shit excuse to make an entire put out a
but my question to you is, what if you're that kid? What if you're the kid who's fucking stupid?
No,
and they put you in the fucking class, and you're like, I don't understand what's going on.
No.
And now you're.
I'll give you an example. I'll answer that question. I will answer that question.
You never will.
I will.
You're stupid.
No. Wrong. That's wrong, and I will say that's wrong.
But see, that's the opposite of your other argument that you make about don't try to tell people anything because they can't be told anything.
But
that's what they fucking think.
But wait a minute. I'm gonna explain this. I'll explain this real simple.
But in this situation, Bruce, you're like, oh no, just keep coming at him.
No. You're not
gonna stop.
Wait, Bruce. Wait a minute. Let's bring it down a notch.
Go ahead.
When I was in college, I dropped out of math. I could not figure it out. Right. So I was having a hard time, and the professor was shit. He was a terrible professor. Every grade, every test, everyone was failing. So I went to this math tutor, and I said, "What's wrong here? Why am I having such a hard time?" And he began to teach me math in a way that was I can adjust and absorb it. The whole thing in life is you want to emulate the others around you. Everyone wants to assimilate in some way. So if I set up a system by which everyone has such a
same way, Julian.
Well, hold on. I want to see. I was beat up and bullied all the time, but the rich kids. But I was a poor kid. But I got some of the highest grades. My self-esteem was shit because when I was in middle school, Julia, I got the shit kicked out of me because I was this little geeky, sheltered kid. And now I was trying to fit in, and I didn't know where I fit in.
I was all worldly all of a sudden.
I didn't know where I didn't know where I fit in. I had to decide what, I had to try to figure out how to dress, how to talk, how to walk. I looked half black, half white. I had a little bit of I had an afro. I was awkward as fuck. And some years I didn't know what my caste was, my social group was. So when you had now an entire group of kids and you're breeding them to be the dumbest shits in the world, they have nothing to strive for. They have no point. Yes, there are some people you're never going to reach them with logic, but what do you do if everyone's operating under the same set of principles?
Where I'm from, it's worse. It's like, here's this dumb fuck, but he can play football.
But that's
so they're gonna just push him on through and pass, give him grades.
But that's
so he can play
Bruce,
football, and
that's my
point.
He
never gets any kind of education or get taught anything except how to fucking beat people up. And get away with it.
Yes. But wait a minute, Bruce. That's the point. When my school decided that was not the right way anymore, they changed that mentality. They had abandoned that mentality and they made it all inclusive. It was like, no, I don't want there to be a group of smart kids, a group of mediocre kids, and a group of dumb kids. I want everyone to get that same quality of education. I want people to be inspired by other people to do better. And when you set up that mentality, I'm not here to argue with you.
I just think
I'm
like,
not.
sometimes you just have these like you just
No,
say
when I'm saying I'm
something
not here to
and you
argue.
act like you have like this one size fits all answer. To
No,
everything,
well, that's
and you're like, that's not how it works.
No, but
It's
sometimes
not that simple. Like you like to try
they
to boil
did the
things down
no.
and
But
make
what
it
I'm saying,
so simple.
it can be
It's
if you
not that
want it to be.
simple.
Sometimes. So when I'm saying I'm not here to argue, I'm saying if I eliminate that caste system, if I set it up where I try to eliminate the have and the have not mentality, where you've got one kid who feels like he's from the opposite side of the train tracks, and I put him now in the same class and I force him to assimilate, I force him to interact with people who think differently with him. Hey, Adam. Then what you're going to get is you're going to force a situation where you may want to learn now. You may want to integrate. You may want to be better than you are. If you set up a Midwest, the way you're describing it, system where, man, he's a dumbass, we're just going to push him through, then that's the results you're going to get. And that's what I'm
wish
talking
you would
about.
Sometimes.
All right.
I don't have the balls to quit.
Okay. But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there was a movie, Star Trek Nemesis, and the point of that movie.
Watched it, I think not that long ago.
Right, and it was Picard and a clone of himself played.
Yeah, it was,
that was
Eric, or no, it was Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, and then there was Data, and they had another Sung type android, which was before. And
Right.
the whole tenet of the movie was, look at these two people. Look at these two people. You've got B4, which is a prototype of Data, and he's slow and he's having a hard time growing and learning. He doesn't want to become better than he is. And look at this other one, Shinzan, who was a clone of Jean-Luc Picard, and he didn't want to be better than he was. He had the intelligence of Jean-Luc Picard, but he had none of the temperance, none of the. He did not have the disposition to improve himself.
Well, because he lived a shit life too.
Right.
They shit all over him,
But
and turned him into a
and there was that one scene where Picard's going, look, I see in you the untapped possibility,
right.
and the nurture that
It's
was
like
never
Magneto.
nurtured.
It's like there's good in you.
Right,
Like,
well,
just,
but when you're
just
dealing,
stop trying to destroy the world all the time.
Yeah.
man.
but when you're dealing now with, and there's many times with Magneto and other X-Men comics had a different path.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're setting people up to fail out of the get-go, then don't say that that's normal and that's the way things should be.
That's not what I said.
No, I understand. You're saying, but some people are just not going to, they're not going to be able to get to that level.
Right.
And
no matter how much you want them to,
but that's,
they just can't. It's
and,
impossible.
No, I disagree. And I'll tell you why. If I have a hard time in math, I could still have a great time in English. I was in remedial math, but I was in honors English. I was in remedial math, but I was in honors history. There were things that I desired, and the school that I went to nurtured the things that I was good at and gave me pathways to excel, and didn't just send me in the one-size-fits-all dumbass wing of the building, which is why we got where we are.
Well, see, it's where I'm from. It didn't feel as like what you're describing. It was the same sort of system where people were classified, but there was only 3 classifications. You were either extremely gifted, and you were in the gifted part, or you were just a regular kid and who did general education.
Yeah. And
or you were a special kid that needed a helmet.
Well, that's a whole other. That's a whole.
No, what I'm saying is
there was one time
there was no like.
There was
a place for like regular people who were just dumb. They were just in the regular.
Yeah, but I don't.
And
like,
there was only one thing that was gifted.
No. But
you had to.
But that
upper 5%
that belies the point. But yeah, but that's. When I went to school,
AP stuff.
I was in an earth science class. I remember the teacher was Mrs. Donahue, and I was in a general science class, general earth science,
right.
And I was in honors classes in other fields, but in the science one, it was more math oriented. I was having a hard time, but I wasn't that bad off. And she said to the class, "I don't understand why you're having a hard time. My honors kids can do it." And people threw paper at her, and I understood that frustration. But at the same time, like me, there were some kids who were like, "Hey, look, this isn't the one area where I am gifted in, but I am gifted in other areas."
The same way.
And
I was English, science, any of that shit.
Right.
I was in the band and I did music, all that shit.
I was
but you put me in math class and I suck.
Right. But
I'm not good at it. Like
the answer, that's fine. And the answer that the middle school had where I went was, well, if you suck in that field, you suck in other fields, you got a bad attitude. I'm not going to invest any time in you. You're on your own. And that was the mistake. That's always the mistake. And that is
the mistake is people like yourself who like you relate this one experience that you had, like that's how it is for everybody across the board.
It can be. What you're telling, what your answer is, Bruce, is that you're saying there is a cast of people. They're always down. They're always going to be there. I'm leaving them behind. I'm not investing in them. That's a mistake. There's never a time by which I could sit there and go, you know what? There's someone who I just think is not worth the investment. Bullshit. Make the time.
That's like saying like that you want to save all these people who are drinking cow fucking worm or whatever the fuck they're doing.
But that's why
I don't care
they
anymore
got
if
there.
these people fucking
But that's
die.
how they got
Let
there.
them fucking die. They need
Nowadays,
to die.
the curriculum that most districts have adopted don't push old kids to excel. They just shove kids through without helping them realize their potential. That's what I'm talking about. Julia gets it. The point is, I don't want there to be cow dewormer guys out there. I want people to be critical thinkers. And by your attitude, yes, there are people who are assholes. Don't get me wrong, but how did they get there? And we breed an entire culture of people that think it's better to take livestock medication
because their parents are assholes and they teach them to be assholes.
Fine, yes, yes. But now, if I send that kid to a school, I don't want that kid to further breed in that stupidity. So I'm going to make the investment. I'm not going to cast them aside. I want that. I want there to be a better, smarter
I'm not
America.
saying that's bad.
And
it's not bad.
And you have to do it. It hurts. It doesn't know. It's not always rewarding. It's not always going to be rewarding, but the effort is worth the reward, and the effort is worth the risk. That's the point.
I don't know.
I do.
I guess I just got disenchanted. But when I was younger, I would walk around carrying books because I'd read books.
Right.
And they'd be like, "What you reading them books for? Her, fucking dumb fuck. You look at that dumb fuck reading books."
This is the story.
Like, I read books, so I'm not a moron
I understand.
like yourself.
But that's why when we talk about, I want more democratic policies in. I want education to be something that is not looked down upon. I know people who are
people who actively say that education itself is just a liberal brainwash tool.
I know, but they are uneducated. That's the point. So they're
uneducated by choice.
But that's my point.
They think that you're trying to indoctrinate them with some kind of knowledge.
Yes. You know what? Yes, you are. We are.
I get that, but I'm saying they don't know the difference.
But I don't
knowledge.
That's fine. But what I don't want to do is just write them off, and that's how you get generated. This is why you have 50% of the country now in lockstep adopting such stupidity, because we've cut them loose.
There's a lot deeper.
Well, there's always going to be some deeper
than that.
There's more than that, but it always comes from education. I believe that balls to bone. They've
been cutting it for years systematically.
Right. And now what you have generations of people who are not thinkers. They are reactionary. They don't want, and that's how you got a Donald Trump. That's how, by your own joke, your famous joke is, "Oh my God, man, all these, he's got a trucker hat. He's one of us."
Right.
That's how you got there, because anyone with half a brain would go, "Wait a minute, this guy is a rich New York liberal. Why? He's not a country guy. He's not in the Midwest. He doesn't care about me." Anyone with half a brain would go, "Wait a minute, this guy is a liar."
No, he's one of them.
All right, and
he's an ignorant jerk off asshole. And wait, hold on, what? I'm not saying that at all. That's not what I'm saying. And another thing is this. Even though you guys don't want to admit this, it's true. There's two fucking Americas. You either live in the one or the other. And if you grew up in the other, all you're going to hear is your fucking parents telling you how the liberals are fucking garbage and they got Fox News on fucking TV.
They don't even do Fox News
you're
anymore.
Fucking 5 years old. Yeah, they're watching Newsmax and fucking
OEN.
Crazier shit than that. But what I'm saying is these people they're washed up from the very beginning. It's like when you see the picture of the kid with the Klan robe on. He looks like he's about 5. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
And that's their kid. Or they dress him in a Klan robe. Yeah. He's gonna grow up and be in the Klan. Why? Because that's what they fucking.
But wait a minute. There's an old saying, and it's true. The solution to pollution is dilution. If I'm making education a responsibility, from the center out.
I'm not arguing.
No.
Education.
I know. No, but no, you are, because
I'm saying
that's the
your
heart
approach to it.
No. The solution to pollution is dilution. If I dilute that culture, if I get rid of that, if I had somebody tell me, oh man, I said, what do you think about all these rich guys going to space? How'd they get past the dome, Rob? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So when I was at the Trek convention, I met an astronaut and I said that to him and he goes, wait a minute, there are people who think there's domes over the earth? And he was angry.
Well, you never heard of flat earthers?
Well, no, but that's my point. If you dilute that, if you expose people to an astronaut, and when I went to school, we had intelligent people, we had military, we had tours of our state and how it and we had tours of New York State and how our state participated and shaped the country via the Revolutionary War.
You tell that all the time.
Because
in Kentucky.
Right. So when you dilute people's stupidity with actual knowledge and you could put it in their face at a younger age, yes, there's going to be blowback. There's going to be people who slip through the cracks, but I don't want to discard half of America because they're just lost.
Julia, see, but this is the problem. The information is available and always has been. They don't go to that. They choose to go to the information, what they call information, that tells them what they think is right, which is totally disinformation. But you can find on the internet all that shit. So all they do is go on the internet and go, look, I'm right. It's right there.
Right.
But I can show you 1,000 other things that say something different. Right. That don't matter. That's all a bunch of corporate liberal garbage. It's meant
right. I get all the platitudes. What I'm saying is, if you walk down the street and you read a book, why is it that you think differently than everyone else? Because you put in the effort. You could have easily slipped away. I mean, where's your good?
I got to give my parents credit too. They didn't.
Well, there you go. But that's what I'm saying. There were people who in your life made an effort. Your parents made an effort. My parents made an effort. So if that can happen, and you, with your intelligence and your knowledge and your compassion and empathy, can come from that type of culture and turn out the way you did, then that can be done. That's my point. That can easily be done. It's not that the results are easy. It's the desire to put in the effort's easy. You either want to put in the effort and pull half of these people out of the dredges, or you just go, fuck it. It's too much time. And the problem is, especially in Nevada, where we live, education's not a priority.
That's always been happening, Julian. In the 60s, man, they had the colleges were fucking on fire. Like, youth intellectualism was at an all-time high.
Good.
And these people, no, but I'm saying, but look at what we turned into after that.
Because
it's not like that changed the fucking world. We're even dumber than we've ever been.
Bruce, because of that mentality, because of the mentality that the effort is not worth.
No, listen. Back then, they were fighting Vietnam, right? For how long? 20 years, not 20 years because Afghanistan passive. At least 15 years, right? They're fighting in Vietnam.
1965
right? I'm saying, back then, those kids cared about that, and they were demonstrating all over the fucking place about it, right? Nowadays, we just got out of the longest war ever. Did you see any college protests about the Afghanistan war? Did you see anybody give a shit? No one cared that anybody died until yesterday or 2 days ago.
Wait a minute.
When that bomb went off at the airport. Now all of a sudden, those 13 guys are fucking important.
Wait a minute.
There's 2,000 and something people fucking died over 20 years.
Yes.
No one seems to care about that.
But there was 50,000 people or so that died in Vietnam War. And the problem with the Vietnam War was there was a draft. There was no draft. The problem it's
still fucked up.
What makes Afghanistan different than Vietnam is because people served, because they enlisted, because they wanted to fight terrorism, because they wanted to defend their country. They did things for noble reasons, and then we left, which made all their sacrifices in vain. And yes, by the way, Kareem, when the war started, Yorktown Heights, there were people protesting at the town hall, at all of the major institutions, and
that's in the beginning. They're trying to stop,
right? But mainly Iraq. But it was mainly Iraq. True, I'm not arguing that, Bruce. I see that. However, the disconnect is stronger because of the ease of obtaining information. These kids aren't as stupid as their parents are counting on, and that's the thing.
It depends.
He's right. Bruce is right in the sense that information is easy to get, and now it's difficult to distinguish between what is and isn't real.
Right.
That's why you need to go in, and my attitude is flood those areas with better qualities of school. And maybe, and again, maybe you don't have to do a typical, train people for a typical 9-to-5 job. Maybe you do go into vocational, but you have to have an institution by which you're getting a baseline education. You're forced to interact with people who think differently than you. That's the difference. And that's where it comes down to. But if you write off the Midwest as just, fuck them, they're on their own, then you get the type of assholes.
Today I saw people literally talking about that they should form these homeschooling associations, and then these teachers that don't agree with the liberal indoctrinations at the schools and then masking and all that, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
they should quit, and then they would provide like some kind of place for them people to go so they can further brainwash their children in a bubble.
And what's going to happen
outside of the mainstream
now,
educational system.
here's a problem. The problem is, as I see it right now, is the mainstream educational system has standardization, which made things worse, and it has varying budgets across the nation, and that's the problem I see, because I know
it's like healthcare. Nobody wants to do it because of the state by state thing. Nobody wants to. If the feds get involved in controlling anything, that's like, that's our goddamn communism.
Yeah. My attitude is this.
If you said tomorrow to these people that you were going to let the federal government take over all education across the United States and put it all into a standardized program of, so that everything was coordinated and together, right? Which would make more sense, don't you think? Overall.
Yes and no.
Well, no, but I'm saying.
Yes and no.
But what do you think those people would say?
No, they'd lose their shit.
Yeah,
they'd lose their now, and partly for good reasons. Part of the problem is,
well, you can't let too much control go into.
Part of the problem is this: a lot of the shit taught in schools is not useful for life. A lot of what's taught in school, in many ways, you were saying trigonometry and this, that. I would have loved to have a program where it taught, paying bills, interest rate on credit cards.
Well, that's called about fucking home economics.
No, but home economics, we didn't do those things. We sat there, we made cupcakes.
I know what I'm saying.
It
could be that. Home
actually,
economics class should actually be that. Should be. I never watch Candace Owens, but that's what I'm telling people. No, but that's what I'm saying is this is the new thing I've been seeing on the right. Is now they're like they just want to pull their children out of school altogether and create some kind of homeschool.
That was a Trump
program that then
right.
Then they can teach the children what they want, and they don't have to hear about
the
critical race theory and all these things that they don't want to talk about.
But here's the thing: there's two things I'm seeing. I'm seeing it from wealthy people that I know that go, I homeschool my kid, and I go, wait a minute, aren't your children going to be deprived of the interaction and the life lessons that result from being in a room with 30 other people? And their argument will be, now my child can learn at the pace that's good for them, which is ridiculous. That's bullshit automatically, because you don't know what somebody can do until they're forced to do it. That's number one. But then the other hand, though, is I'm a Christian conservative. I want them to be taught with my life lessons. I don't want, some person with an agenda or just reading from a teacher's edition. So the problem was the schools became more and more standardized to raise test grades and things. What I would rather see is a school system by which you're actually observing how the child is progressing, and then start to craft what things they can do well in other areas where they need improvement, and build that way. Maybe it would be more
what you need
intimate.
Is money for that.
Well, no, but yes, but we pissed away $3 trillion on Afghanistan.
And again, I'm not saying that. I'm saying this country is not.
It's not a focus. It's not a priority.
Not set up for that right now.
But here's the thing, and here's the problem.
Which is why Europe
What's going to happen?
Pass this by.
What's going to happen is, as these younger generations get into the world, they're going to get their asses kicked because they won't have the tools. And that's my concern. My ultimate concern is other countries that are developing.
You should know that we're not going anywhere but down.
Yeah. India, a lot of these countries where they're focusing on education and technology and they're boosting, they're going to come up and take the better jobs, take the better fields, and kick the crap out of us. And we're going to be left on the sideline going, how did we get here? And there's ways around it.
Because you can't just be a consumer economy.
Yes, you're right.
You can't just consume.
That's right. You have to produce. That's
a service economy now. Well, what's the service? Oh, for me to give you something that he's consuming.
What's amazing?
Well, nobody's making anything. The only thing that's been keeping this country afloat is the tech companies. If we didn't control that part of the world, the economy, we would have already collapsed.
Now Kareem brings us saying the systemic racism, the redlining, destroying. Thank you, Nunya. Destroying black communities in the Bronx. There was a prominent black community, and Robert Moses, who was the city planner, literally put the I-95 right through a black community, and it's called the Cross Bronx Expressway.
Like Tulsa, they didn't just go burn it down.
They bombed
just tore it down by building the highway through it. But
Tulsa. Oh no! Actually, in Tulsa, what they did was when the blacks had a successful,
they went and burned the fucking town down.
They literally got in planes and dropped bombs. Yeah. Well, there's a movie called Motherless Brooklyn, and it features.
They did it everywhere. That's the fucking problem.
The Motherless Brooklyn is about Robert Moses.
But remember, this is totally not a racist country.
There's a one-liner in there that what's he? Baldwin. Alec Baldwin is playing Robert Moses. They changed the last name to something else. They call it Robert Israel, whatever the fuck. And he says to oh my God, I can't remember. Who was the guy who played the Hulk and they fired him?
David Banner.
No, the actor.
Bill Bixby.
No, like recent.
That's what I just said. Fucking Eric Bana.
No.
He was the first Hulk, and then Robert Norton.
Yeah, Ed Norton. That was it. Ed Norton. So Ed Norton plays
Fight Club dude.
Ed Norton plays like this whole gumshoe detective, and he's talking to Robert Moses, and he goes, "Oh, so you don't like that I tore down these communities? Let me tell you something. The Lower East Side was a farm. Now there's skyscrapers there. Do you still want to see fucking cattle on Manhattan? There's always that's the price of progress."
That move thing was actually in the 80s, I believe. It was long. It was way.
Thank you, Kareem.
Up.
But
past all this stuff, the stuff in Tulsa and shit happened in like the 50s.
Ultimately, because we got to get going in a sec.
No, yeah, I got to go.
Yeah. So my attitude in life is this: if you raise a smarter generation of kids, they're not going to be susceptible to buying into the bullshit. The problem is just figuring out what is a decent baseline education, and then how you can branch off from there and start to customize and tailor to the strengths of the students.
We need more fucking teachers. And less, smaller classroom size.
Smaller classroom, yes.
More options.
Yes.
Like,
now,
like you said, it's too one size fits all,
But and I have a whole channel where I talk about this stuff. Come check out my video. We'll post a link right there.
Car.
And you can go to our page.
I tell people all the time to watch this stuff.
And post a link. But yeah, I mean, there was.
It's really good. I was watching it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, it's really good.
To me, I used to think that the comedians were the smartest guys in the room that knew something. The problem is, I mean, some of these comedians now, and I go, "What the fuck are you talking
it's just
about?"
Like everything else, though. There's smart ones and there's dumb ones.
No, but some of the people we know, and I don't want to put out because this is again, he was talking to me earlier. Like, how do you know some of the why don't you see? You haven't been in the comedy scene as often as you should be. You don't know all this shit that's going on. I go, I don't fucking care. It's high school shit. You should know in the sense that you should be aware of your coworkers.
It's just like,
but there's some of these guys, they post up shit, and I go, are you fucking retarded for a living?
No, I get that, but I'm saying you don't have to get involved in it.
No, you be aware. Be aware. Yeah. but some of it,
So you don't walk into situations.
and say something stupid.
Like you said, situational awareness.
You're right. You're right.
So how do you have situational awareness if you don't know what the fuck's going on?
You know what? You got me there.
You're fucking navigating, a situation you don't know nothing about.
Well, no, and this is what I did. You know what I learned in that situation when I don't know? I just shut my mouth.
Well, it's sure that always works, but I'm saying it's better.
Yeah,
to plan and think ahead.
Well, when the place that you can find the most dirt on what's going on in the Vegas,
I maintain my Switzerland status.
Right. Well, the place to find out all the dirt that's going on in the comedy scene is Dive Bar and Noreen's, because everyone's running their mouth out in the parking lot, talking all this shit. You could find out everything in a few minutes. But I did put my foot in my mouth once with Gabe Acquire, and I went up to him and I went, "Oh man, so how is Liz?" "I don't know." And he was looking at his phone. I'm like, "Oh,
exactly."
And I'm like, he goes, and then he looked at me, like he hadn't seen me, and he goes, "You know, we're not dating anymore." And I was like, "Ooh,
that's what I mean.
Stepped in it."
That's what I'm saying.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
The slightest bit of attention to what was going on peripherally. You would have seen that. You would have known not to say that.
And now what I do,
awkward situation.
So what I do now is I just shut my mouth and I just go, "Hey, what's going on?" And I let people tell me, and then I keep. But you know, the funny thing is, and we'll do this, when they had the Taco Dive Bar, she did a set and it was fucking incredible. And he was watching and he didn't leave, and she walked right up to him. It was the weirdest thing. She just stood right in front of him and just stared at him like a hard ass glare. And it was almost like it looked almost like a frustrated, like she wanted something from him and couldn't get it. She was just looking at him like,
I don't know what's going on, but they're seeing each other again. They're not like back together, but
they're and that was it.
Hanging out again,
right? In other words, hey,
so there's something,
right? And that was it.
There between them, and always has been.
There's a chemistry there. There's a chemistry, but there's a chemistry
tension
there
as well.
And it looked like a sexual tension because she was standing in front of him like she wanted to grab him almost, and she was glaring at him like, "I would fuck you right now if you weren't pissing me off so much."
Right.
That's the look I saw.
I just killed it, and I felt great, and I wanted.
And he looked at her, and he didn't know what to say. He was just like, I'm like, "What is going on
Either
here?"
Way, I'm saying there's something between them.
Oh yeah, and I was looking, I was going, "What the fuck is going on here?" Like, are they gonna? So I do well when I shut my mouth and just observe. So I'm gonna do this like a mall cop and just observe and not report.
What do you mean? I just mean.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
If you're gonna be
in the scene
in something, you should.
Well, no. What happened with me?
At least just try to pay attention to what's going on.
I've
gone a little bit.
I was going to 2 or 3 shows, doing 2 or 3 mics a week, and then I cut it down to just that a month. And twofold was just me not feeling comfortable with what I was writing and not developing anything that I felt good with. And also, and it's no excuse, but it is. I started focusing on different things, and I pulled myself in too many different directions, and that was the problem. I pulled myself thin, and I put a little bit of energy in a lot of things instead of putting a lot of energy in one thing. And that's my fault in life, and I got to work on that. And that's it. I got to work on that.
Pick something and go.
Well, no, what I like doing.
We had this conversation.
No,
even if it isn't comedy.
What I like
pick something.
What I like doing.
Focus on that, because you're not going to get anywhere trying to focus.
Absolutely,
on 3 or 4
you're right.
Things
what I like more than anything, the guy that I idolize the most is definitely Howard Stern, which is really what the format, the layout. A guy you could talk about yourself freely. You could be self-deprecating.
Right.
You could be humorous. You have a crew of people.
Right.
You interview people. That's what I want. And by the way, that's the ultimate. Friends with benefits. They got friends with benefits, But that's.
Yeah, I think it's more than that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I get whatever. But
like I said, they're young. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And especially Liz. She's like my comedy daughter or whatever. She's young and
by the way,
same thing. She still is sometimes like she just graduated college. She's being an engineer, but she's like always saying like, "Oh, I might move to New York. I might move to LA."
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things where they're afraid to, even if they wanted to, they're afraid to get into some deep relationship because I would because Gabe's not going to move to New York with her or something. So she doesn't want to get all attached to him.
All right.
And
No,
then-
but that's going to build her into a stronger person.
But she likes him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he's not going in the same direction.
So they broke up, but they still couldn't stay away from each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's
So,
weird.
First of all, the conversation of the comedy daughter thing got to her, and she was like this. I find it sweet. He looks out for me. I appreciate that. She loves that. Because I was joking with you. I was busting balls.
Well, it started as a joke. She started it.
Oh, she started it.
She used to say that I was her dad.
Oh, and that was coming off creepy, and I was like, "Ooh, that's coming off."
No,
creepy.
she would say that I was her dad. That's how it started. She was trying to make jokes about me, and she'd be like, "Oh, that's my dad," Or she would say like, "My dad's dead," and then she'd be like, "No, he's over there."
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So she started calling me her dad, and then that's when I just started going along with the joke. So I was like, "Oh, she's my daughter."
I want to address Kareem.
And there were some people that actually thought that was true for a minute.
No.
And we wrote that and let them.
You kept saying it, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of creepy." But anyways,
no, that's how it started.
I want to address something with Kareem real quick. What I liked about Bill Maher, I just organic.
Don't question Bill Maher, or Rob will get all defensive.
No, what I like about Bill Maher is there are things he's ignorant on. There are things he's insanely arrogant, no doubt about it. He definitely brings truth to power. He definitely challenges people. He does say dumb shit. The house nigger joke that he said was fucking. A senator from Iowa said to him, "We would like you to work in the fields," and then he goes, "Well, I don't work in the fields. I'm a house nigger." And I went, "Oh, Jesus, fuck! What the fuck are you doing?" And then following Ice Cube came on there and goes, "Hey, man, who the fuck told you could say that shit?"
Again, we like to go back like to certain dates. It was like, dude, it's like let's play the clip.
No, but no, my thing,
you have these clips in your head.
No. So my thing is, I like.
Right? He is fucking powerful.
I like him because he strives to try to get a conservative on there, a liberal, and have a point counterpoint. He had Malcolm Nance on 2 weeks ago and Ben Shapiro, and it was one of the most interesting debates I ever seen because Malcolm Nance was just shooting out, liberal platitudes, and he actually made Ben Shapiro look like a moderate, reasonable person.
Until he said that thing about going home to sleep on his mattress made of money or whatever.
Oh no, he did that because Malcolm Nance said something pretty awful, and it was like, wow.
I get that.
And it was but it was interesting. It wasn't
like children now.
Right, it was because the conversation devolved quickly. But I shouldn't say quickly. I should take a look. It was. I like debate.
Right.
I like the debate.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Well, when are you coming? Because I would love that. I've been saying that for a while. You know that. You're welcome to come here anytime you want. Please. Yes.
Yeah, have I met Kareem? I don't think so.
No, you haven't.
I would love to.
He hasn't been out here.
I would love to.
He's one of my best friends, man. And I miss him terribly. He's one of the people, very few people that I miss. Yes, please. And speaking of, I gotta go anyway.
Yeah, we are.
I gotta go to Champagne to do my show. Yeah, well, you need to come. I said I miss you.
By the way,
great to see you.
You know what? If you come, and he's got his show, I'd be happy to have him here.
Of course,
we would love to have you.
We'd have to widen the fucking thing, though.
Well,
he's a big dude.
I want to. We got to work on a better type of a set because this is not bad.
Widen the scale,
to
fit him in there.
I think my solution is to allow more people and to still allow us to do green screen. I'm gonna have to find a way to do a green screen that will go across the entire room, and that will allow us to do more people. But then the other thing is the camera. What I want to do is have 2 cameras for us. So, because my buddy's got that. He's got 2 cameras, and when somebody talks and it flips to the other screen, there's things that I want to do for the show. The reason why I like Howard Stern is he's the innovator of all.
We've been doing this for 2 years. We don't have time.
He is the innovator of every bit of modern media, and he is. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely some streamer tips. Howard Stern is the innovator of all modern media. He really is. There is a reason why he's the king of all media. And the way he's
self-proclaimed title.
He earned it. And I mean, every radio thing, every program and I'm going to say something that's counter progressive if you want. The second biggest radio guy is Rush Limbaugh because that guy's an innovator too. I don't like his message, but the delivery system and the work ethic, I appreciate.
No, he built.
I appreciate the work ethic. Howard Stern has the work ethic. He has.
So does Andy. He fucking goes on radio for fucking 3
Yeah.
hours a day, fucking runs his mouth, and
Yes.
then runs right to Fox News so he can run his mouth some more at night.
Yep. and you know what? But that's work
He makes
ethic.
$40 million a year doing it. So
It's a great work
yes,
ethic.
I would too.
It's a great work ethic, and I appreciate that.
I said Kareem is my. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He's always acting
but
like,
they.
oh, you invented some
Well,
shit.
no,
Like,
no. I mean, you could talk about
moved it
Don
up.
Imus. You could talk about Don Imus, and you could talk about
It's always been shock jobs. Yeah.
this, but not like that.
That
Not
one, the
like
guy
that.
Alan Berg got himself fucking shot by the fucking Nazi guys.
There's never ever
They
been
shot him.
anyone with that same
They killed him.
drive and work ethic as Stern, and to have
Like
the
I
team
said,
of people.
Those guys killed him.
Who?
His name was Alan Berg.
Yeah.
He was like you ever seen the movie Talk Radio
Oh, was that the one
with
with?
Eric Bogosian?
I
And
think
Alec
so.
Baldwin is the station manager, but he's like a nighttime
Yeah.
talk radio guy, and all these like Nazis and shit call in, and he argues with them. And
Yeah.
he's like, man, you love to hate.
Right.
And then his whole program is like basically fucking trolling Nazis and shit. And then they shoot him at the end. But that's all based on a real thing.
But yeah, to me, at the end of the day, what I respect the most is the work ethic and finding that thing and that element of yourself and getting that niche and then building on it. That's why I like this venue more than I like stand up, more than I like anything else. This and voiceover work is the ultimate to me. That's what I care about the most.
That's why I said, even if what you choose to do is stand up.
Yeah,
I say, even if you choose this as your venue, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you choose this as your venue and you go, this is what I want to do, then you need to focus on this and work on this
I know.
all the time.
Well, that's why.
Stop.
Well, that's why I'm saying I want
with the fucking.
Well, that's why I'm saying I want to. Well, I know. That's why like I'm saying I wanted to. The thing that I wanted for this and that I want, not past tense, want is somebody more hands-on and technical that can help me with some of the details in between. I got a buddy named Brian Deo. He's got the Third Universe page on Facebook, and he does more comic stuff. And yeah, I mean, he was the one who taught me about how to do the green screen, how to get the lighting, how to do the background, so it's just not the two of us talking with my room in the back, my stairwell in the back. Right. He did the research, and he's got an arguably better camera than us, everything. So I like that, and that's how I went to BNC Camera in Las Vegas and got all this equipment. And I want to improve now and get the equipment where I don't have to be crammed right on top of Bruce. I love you, Bruce, but we're kind of like two, like we're in a sardine can.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
And that's what I want to do. And the other thing that I want is to be able to have more guests, to be able to bring people from the comedy scene here, and just to have this be the place, and just have this be the rotating place where people come and they can talk and we can interview and have a fluent conversation. That's what I want, is the fluent conversation where I can pull information. Stern is the best at that. He is the best at that. Bill Maher,
Kareem, like,
really feel. Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly. He's a little shy with his opinions.
Bill Maher, the one thing Bill Maher does is if a joke bombs,
anyway,
he blames the crowd, and it's so sad.
It's so fucking.
He'll
sad.
go, "Oh, that's what you don't like.
Right.
That's what you're gonna boo about.
Oh, I went across the line there.
I thought, and then he'd go like this. I thought that would hit better.
Right.
I'm like, don't break the fourth wall, dude. If your shit fucking flopped, go to the next one.
Right.
Don't drop more bombs.
Well, that's the problem with doing shows like that, where you gotta have new jokes every week.
He's good. He's got a team of writers, though.
I know, but I'm saying that's why he's got a team of writers, because it'd be hard for you to sit around by yourself and come up with that much stuff all the time.
But and he's another one, though, to do the television and then still to do the Bill Maher and Howard Stern. Those are like the way they have their shows laid out, the type of careers they have.
Together, I would like. I'm not saying I wouldn't mind to be there.
No, he was on Howard.
Anyway,
Bill Maher was on Howard Stern talking about that, how he tried to be a '90s talk show host, and that wasn't a venue for him. And I don't think he would trade, Real Time with Bill Maher to be Jay Leno. I don't think he would trade it. No. And then I think then if you told him, look, you're going to get to say what you want on HBO, not be inhibited.
Yeah, but see, he wasn't there. He got to get what the best thing that could happen to him is he got fired.
Yeah,
from ABC or whatever.
But you know
and
what?
They took it off network. The show got infinitely better once it went to
no.
HBO.
Tucker Carlson is meteoric rise is because
Tucker Carlson is
he's
like
a piece
wants
of shit.
to be Joseph Goebbels now.
Yes, he's a piece of shit. What Tucker Carlson does is his whole gimmick is he plants a seed and he tries. But you know what? The number one.
I would love to keep this going because it's very fascinating, but I have shit to do.
Well, I was gonna say before we go, you know that the number one night talk show is now Fox News's Gutfeld.
Yeah, I heard that.
Gutfeld is past everybody.
I heard that,
and it's not fucking entertaining at all. It's mildly entertaining, but Gutfeld is past Stephen Colbert. He's surpassed everything. Is Greg Gutfeld, and my
guy's a gigantic fucking douchebag.
He is. And my father loves it.
Top 5 douchebags on the planet.
He's got that Catherine Timp on there. He's got that wrestler on there. And yes, Kareem, Fox News is the highest rated network.
Yeah.
And that's insane to me. But then at the same time, I realize it. Like, hey, look, Tucker Carlson's a gigantic piece of shit. But
right, exactly. Old fucks watch television.
They do, but they're reaching. I think they're getting a younger,
Anyway, I have to go to fucking Champagne, so I got a show to host. So
fucking Champagne.
I got to go. So it's great just fucking for you to hang out. It's good to see you, Cream. But please tell me when you fucking are gonna come and visit, man. I do miss you very much. Kareem is one of my best friends in the whole world.
You have a good set.
Thank you, but I'm just hosting the mic. It's a job I do every week. I'll be doing a show. I'll be doing a set tomorrow night at Shanklin's before I go to work. So if you're nothing to do and you're in Vegas, Shanklin's Cantina tomorrow night, I'll be there. We love you. We'll be back next week. Thank you and
good night.